Today we're down at Follinsby, which is the home of our firearms support unit, and as you can see behind me, I'm stood here on one of the two ranges that we've got, and this is exactly where our armed officers do all their training. They play a really important role in keeping us safe. We've obviously seen the incidents in Manchester and London and on the continent as well, which really underlines the importance of having this capability here. So today we've come to speak to Michael Venn, who's a police officer, he's a firearms officer, but for 10 years he's been an instructor here at Follinsby Park. In the most dangerous situations police can face, it's people like Michael and his colleagues here at Follinsby who are going to be in the line of fire. So let's chat to Michael to find a little bit about him, about his background, and what you need to do to become a firearms officer in Northumbria Police.
My background's from the Royal Marines, primarily the reserves in Newcastle, which I joined when I was 16. I left then after 7 years to join Northumbria Police at the time. So my background was military before joining the police. I came into firearms after 4 years police service, and so that's 19 years of firearms service in the police, 10 years as an instructor, and more recently I rejoined as a Royal Marines reservist, and I do instructions with them, and it's military weapons, tactics, with the Marines Reserve. So I've got a foot in each camp really. So I get up to date things from the military and up to date from the police, and I see how the world of firearms sort of evolves over the last decade or so. People with a military background do seem to have a better handling of weapons, physically manipulating them, using them, various successes and actual accuracy depending on what branch of the military they came with. So handling weapons is certainly an advantage if you're ex-military, it's just that familiarisation. But there's still very separate branches when it comes to policing, which is why we always stipulate you've got to be a police officer for 3 years before you start coming on to any specialism, including firearms, so that you understand the police role with firearms in the public domain. It's a huge responsibility. Everyone is a volunteer. There's no extra pay for it. They are police officers that have volunteered to take on the responsibility of carrying firearms, whether conventional ones or less lethal ones, and it's that responsibility of that at some point they might have to use that in the extreme circumstances to save life. So it is a huge responsibility. We've seen from Manchester and the bombings, we've seen more use of suicide vests, knife attacks. We know what the threat is, and we've had to evolve to meet that. So our training and tactics have evolved in the expectation that we might come across somebody that is that dogged, determined attacker who will continue in a course of action, result in loss of life until their life is taken, and they will force that, hence wearing a suicide vest. So we've got to be able to deal with that, whereas 10, 15 years ago, that hadn't come to light. As instructors, we see it as our job to we train people to pass. We don't test people to fail. So seeing somebody that's come, some have only ever fired a gun of any type is part of the assessment process. So to see somebody come as day one and over the whole evolution of a 12 week course, see what they go through, because the tempo is high, it's very intense, it's a difficult course. So to see those people get through it, especially those that have maybe struggled in some areas, and it's our job to see why, what they're struggling with, and how to find maybe other ways to get that lesson across and get that competency in place. So it's great to see people pass out of these courses knowing how much effort they had put into it.